ladies and gentlemen. But before I read what the Chief Registrar said at my goodwill message, let me first of all say, I'm happy. I'm dressed like this today, you know why? Two things. One, to honor you, because this is the last time you preside over the legal year. So I decided to dress like this today to honor you. Secondly, to make those who don't like me to have high blood pressure. And most of you who are here who don't like me already, they check your BP. It's likely to go very high. I purposely did that. I know that this breach of protocols, which were found out not only when you're having your legal year, also in other ceremonies and occasions. In government cycle, before we come in, we believe we should have an advance copy, the speeches of the various bodies, so the government will be able to know how to react in some issues that may be raised. You are aware that NBA spoke, the body of synagogue spoke, and my Lord, the Chief Judge, spoke. We will not react to the one of the Attorney General because he's a member of the Executive Council. So we always believe that we should have it so that we'll be able to know what to react in terms of issues that are raised. However, before I read my speech so that I won't forget, I will react to some of the issues. The chairman, on behalf of the various branches, did say that extrajudicial killing in Oyibo. I want to take exception to that. I want to take serious exception to that. I don't know how you came about that. And you know the word, watch. People are listening. That the judicial panel of inquiry that has been set up, which we believe the NBA should submit a memorandum, and which you have not submitted, as usual. As has always been the practice. We like to come in the public and preach, pontificate, but in practice, do what we're supposed to do. We will not do it. MDA, you spoke on behalf of MDA. You know that as a extrajudicial killing, have you submitted any memorandum to the judicial panel? Certainly not. And now you have passed a judgment that extrajudicial killing. People must be able to tell the truth. I know in part of our society, to say the truth, people will hate you, or you are afraid of death. But you forget that you must die one day. And the day you will die, you do not know. How you will die, you do not know. But you will die. One thing that is certain, all of us here must die. No matter how you pretend about it. You forgot to tell the people how terrorists came to destroy River State. When River State, we never had any problem of NSAS protests. You forgot to tell them how they went and burned the courts. You forgot to tell them how soldiers were killed and burnt, how policemen were killed. But what you tell them is extrajudicial killing. That's not fair. And I cannot be a governor, and I sit down here, and you say that, and I will go home happily that the chairman of another branch, on behalf of all other branches, I will not accept that. If you have any problem, go to the judicial and present your case. Let us know whether there was any extrajudicial killing or not. So I don't think I would agree to that. Secondly, each time we have our legal year, I come around and look at the numbers. Of course, COVID-19 has affected so many ceremonies, but some people take COVID-19 as an excuse. I sent my SSG to find out from the Attorney General and the Attorney General from what I witnessed would not convert to OCJ. We have 22 senior advocates. Today, by the grace of we have 21 because, well, maybe not be 21 because I don't want to announce the death of another senior advocate. That will be done by the family. But some of you may have had, but let them not that authority to announce. So let me still believe that we have 21 since our brother. But when we are doing ceremonies like this, legally and like this, how many of them will you find? 5, 6. 5, 6, 7. We'll find all of them to give support. That is not good. I have watched in other jurisdictions, other states, when they're having their legal year, you see members of the inner bar seriously presented. But in our own case, 5 or 6 will come. My friend, I don't know how he became elder, but he says an elder. Well, let us take it as an elder. Here is not a place where you come and tell us to lobby for projects in your community. You are living in Honorable Crescent. We've done the road. You've done the one in your community there. You said, except one, please. That one will not be done. When I leave, another person should go and complete that one and it's not done. But you see, when I read your address, because I wasn't quite getting what you were saying. Maybe because of the microphone. You said, because we are locked and we slept. Why can't you mention who locked the courts? But you praise the person for building the courts. But you cannot say the same person locked the... Why? Somebody built court. The same person went and locked the court. Then you choose to say the person helped in building the court. You thank him. But if you don't thank him for locking the court. You know, this country, the way we are doing things, half and half. I said, since you spoke on behalf of the body of small advocates, the body of small advocates, you are meant to say the truth. Speak the truth so that you shall be saved. All of you, most of you nearly became taxi drivers when the courts were locked. Most of the lawyers nearly became people in motorbikes trying to see how they can survive. It cannot be painful whether anybody likes it or not. No matter how good anybody can be. That you deny people to have access to justice. I remember a woman who appeared, who was an accused person in magistrate's court, pregnant woman. She was supposed to be granted bail the next day. That was the day they locked the court. The woman gave birth in the prison. How painful can that be? For nothing. For nothing. So that is the society we are in. When you talk about NSAS and this and that, let's not go there. Let's not go there. When we started the issue of NSAS in this state, how many of you complained? How many of you came out to say enough is enough? for the activities of SARS. How many of you? NBA, you are supposed, these are kind of things you champion, but you won't do it. They kill our people. Nobody said anything. Then when they kill somebody somewhere, they do not say SARS, because our own people were supposed to die. Yes, we agree that SARS was a problem, but we started it on time to tell the public why this SARS should no longer continue. But they said it was politics. Now, they kill their own people. It was no longer politics. So, I felt I should remind you of some of these things that we have to be careful. I can't be a governor and see a terrorist group come to destroy my state. I can't be a governor and see a terrorist group come to annex my state. I can't be a governor and see a terrorist group come to put flags and change the names of communities in my state. I will never allow it. I will never allow it. When it is your turn, you come. Then you call it extrajudicial killing. Again, the NBA chairman said, thank God, when he said they were charging 1,000 naira, I told the SSG, go and find out from the ICT man, who is collecting this money. I thank God the CJ has said, it's them. It has nothing to do with state government. Because when you have money collection, your mind runs to government. So, and she said, look, stay in your offices, stay in your houses, and do this work. But if they are coming here, then you are allowed to start some administrative. So, if the NBA chairman or the NBA chairman had gone to the CJ and complained, say, look, I'm sure the CJ must have explained, or would explain to them, see why we are charging 1,000 naira. CJ, and support on that 1,000 naira. Now let me address you. This morning, my wife woke me up, 5 a.m. That's why I said she's boss at home, not outside though, because I was elected by Rivers people. But at home she's the boss. She woke me 5 a.m. She didn't talk to me last night. So I wondered why 5 a.m. I don't know. Say, please, today's address, just take it easy. Don't address, don't the judges, the magistrates. I said, you know what you have done now? You are trying to influence me. If it was me now that said, don't do this, will I accept? Wouldn't you say that, my husband, allow me to do my work? So why are you trying to influence me now? Well, as a boss, what do? I have to melembe. I have to calm down. So, my boss has agreed, but I will still say the truth. But I've toned it down so that I'll be able to go home. And, I eat very well. It is my pleasure to be here once again to preside at the opening, or to be present at the opening of the legal year of the Judiciary of Rivers State for 2020-2021. And therefore, on behalf of the government of Rivers State, I wish to welcome our judicial officers from your vacation, if you did, but since you are not in court during your vacation, so we expected that you travel, even though we know the travel was internal. Nobody could go overseas, except some of you that had the opportunity to have a private jet, if there's anyone that has. But I know that you were at home. That was the first time I knew that COVID-19 too had some advantages nobody should talk about COVID-19 is too bad. No. COVID-19 helped to bring families together. So nobody wants to talk about that. They only talk about the pandemic. If you ask most women, they say, look, yes, it kills. But I prefer that thing that will kill, that will make my husband to be at home. He kept everybody at home. So thanks to COVID. So it's not everything, it's advantage. You will not talk of the advantage. So many homes were united. I don't want to call names. When I call them, they said, my brother, they've never seen anything like this. Now, husband and wife at home, morning breakfast, afternoon lunch, night dinner. Unlike before, we have body of small advocates meeting. You have body of small advocates meeting, yes. What time? That time that there will be dinner. That's when there will be meeting for body of small. So many people, but COVID-19, I thank you for bringing families together, even though you went and killed innocent people. Today is yet another important date in the judicial calendar of our state, whose significance lies not only in the formal proclamation to open the courts, but also in the opportunity that it offers for our judges and magistrates to reaffirm their dedication to oath they took to safeguard the rule of law and render justice equally and fairly to every citizen who deserves it. Judiciary contributes in no small measure to the well-being and progress of our state. Issues of good governance, investment, human rights, crime prevention and criminal justice, gender equality and sustainable economic growth all hinges on the rule of law and social justice. And so, as citizens and beneficiaries of the works and impact of the judiciary, nothing can be more reassuring than the commitment by our judges and magistrates to perform their constitutional functions as efficient and effective as possible. It is not in our character to pursue a public institution for doing its job as mandated of it by law and society, but the facts and the progress and performance of our judiciary since this administration clearly and impressive. No one can deny that 5.5 years ago, our judiciary and entire justice system was in complete disarray and gasping for rescue. Things went so bad that the doors to justice, as presented by the body of senior advocates, were totally and completely shut against our people, so that no one could have access to claim or enforce their right to justice. But today, the progress and achievements of our judiciary have been phenomenal. Even the worst of our senseless critics on social media cannot but acknowledge the extraordinary and inviolable transformation that has taken place within so short a period. Let me therefore congratulate all our judicial officers and magistrates for their achievements in the preceding year and the commitment they have made to take the judiciary to greater heights in the new legal year going forward. As governor of the state and major stakeholder in the justice system, I believe we now have a more functional judiciary we can all trust, a more confident judiciary with profound capacity to deliver on its mandate to the people, a judiciary with increased level of integrity, transparency, and accountability. This has come about because we believe in the rule of law. We believe that citizens and institutions must live by the rule of law, which must be respected and equally enforced. We are determined to give full and complete support to our judiciary to exercise its authority as the defender of the rule of law against the imperial tendencies of the other co-equal branches or arms of government, to breathe life into our laws to advance the collective interests of society. It is important to note that while the rule of law is available to citizens and institutions as both sword and shield, We are yet at the point in this country where it can be taken for granted without an effective judicial system that mirrors the final attributes of responsibility, independence, and integrity. We all know that access to justice is not just the provision of adequate courtrooms for judges to adjudicate over cases. It is certainly much more than this, and demands much more deliberate efforts and commitment by all, including the judiciary itself and the legal profession. Also, there is no access in all cases where litigation becomes expensive, where court matters drag on for months and years, where litigants get frustrated by physical, technical, and other barriers, or where there is no guarantee that the law will be equally and fairly applied to all citizens. With these and other social defects and limitations, the demand and struggle for citizens for a just, fair, and trustworthy judicial system is still a work in progress, even with our democracy and the substantial progress we have recorded so far. It is also the case that inadequate funding for the judiciary is a recurrent challenge, preventing the judiciary across the nation from enjoying practical autonomy and efficiency. While this could be true, not an challenge, while this could be true, but not in River State under our administration. I want to challenge the federal government, who has said that states have been denying or depriving the judiciary of their funding. The federal government should come out and say, which are these states? And I can tell you, they are the ruling state, the party, and whether I like it or not, no PDP state is denying or depriving the state judiciary of funding. It is the APC states that are denying the judiciary of funding. The federal government should know that is the truth. Those of you who are here, put it as part of your what you sent to them tonight, of what I said. I've always said so, and I'm not going to run away. In the last 5 years, we have expanded access to justice by building and equipping numerous courthouses for all our courts. We have recruited new judges and magistrates to fill all existing vacancies and substantially improve the working conditions and well-being of judicial officers and magistrates. Indeed, the previous government cannot say that what they have done can be compared to what we have done. It is very clear, whether you like it or not. You know, the Minister of Justice, when we came on board, they were writing all kinds of letters on social media, attacking me, how they were not paid, for even when I was not a governor. But since they paid them, you can't see them on social media, thank you for paying us even when we are not a governor. They will not thank me that. It's only when you don't pay, they will go to social media. When you pay, they will keep just like from what we hear, some judicial officers are not happy with us because we made pronouncements of what we did. We spend public money, and we must tell public when we spend money, because it must be on record. So some people are not happy that why did we say we did this. Before, didn't we do it? If we did something, we say we did it. As we did fly, but this is say we did it. If we don't say who will agree that we did it, a country, we can't run a country like this. When you spend public funds, you tell the public you have spent funds. And that's not way. Because if I leave and I didn't say it, nobody will say it. If none of them will even agree that even the judges' quarter I built it, nobody will agree. So everybody has continued to say it. So the years will hear. I was one who built it. I was one who gave them CFO. And I told my children, and they put it on record, I was one who did it. So let nobody be angry. That's why he said it every time. Will I say it when I'm dead? So I've come now to say what I have done. It is what we call testimony. Testimony. Some people go and give, some people go to court, to church and give what? Testimony. So go to church and give testimony. Me, I'm giving testimony to all of you. This is what I've done. This is what I'm continuing to do. Spurred by our progressive vision, we're about the only state government that went out of the way to bear much of the infrastructure needs of federal courts located in Rivers State. Today, Federal High Court, Port Harcourt, National Industrial Court, Port Harcourt, and the Progressive Division of Court of Appeal, all comfortable seats in new court buildings, exclusively built and furnished by the Rivers State government. We have also been outstanding in the country with our best certain achievements of attending to the material comfort and well-being of judicial officers with our policy of providing befitting lifetime accommodations and special executive vehicles for luckily American states every 4 years. I have on 2.5 years, so they won't get again. So you said every 4 years. Now they've gotten the other 4 years. This is what they've gotten for the 4 years in my second tenure. So by a theory, we have fulfilled our own that's 8 years, 2 vehicles. I think we have done with it. I think not done well. And very special vehicles, not just ordinary vehicles. So I think we have done well. Like you said, we have done well. We have also funded, developed, and introduced a robust case management system that is automated and enabled by technology to provide online filing and management of court processes and eliminates the drudgery associated with the use of paper and enhance timely dispensation of justice and related services to the public. We are not done yet, as we have started the construction of lifelong residencies for all magistrates of the Rivers State Judiciary to enhance the comfort and job performance. I hear that the magistrates don't like me. I say, you're not a politician, you don't need to like me. I'm a politician. He said, I hear you say you don't have your promotion. Well, I'm not a member of the Judicial Service Commission. They are coming to here. Go and meet him. The Chief Judge is here. I don't see that I'm not the one who will promote you. And most of you have started writing unnecessary petitions against the Chief Judge. Some of you who are not appointed as judges, you link it to me that I'm a tribalist. Yes, everybody has a tribalist. Everybody has a tribalist. So you don't, when people come and talk about racists and non-racists, I say, look at you. Yes, there's no white one here, so we're all black. So what do we use? Ethnicity. It's not what we use here. Ethnicity and religion. The white people, because of the black and white, so you call it racism. But our own is a ethnicity. It's ethnicity. So if you say, I'm a tribalist, yes. You too, you are all of us. So don't, because you didn't get something, begin to say, this person is a tribalist. There's nobody that can say that I'm a governor. I will live as a governor. Then I will not help my own people. You're a liar. You're a big liar. I'll come down, and that's why I will thank the Chief Judge at the appropriate time. Because she's from Rivers State, what I would have suffered would have been something else. But I'll come to that at the appropriate just a day. Today's the legal year. One day is nothing like going back home or doing the legal day. So we are also set to lay another foundation stone for the construction of another federal high court building and judges' residence. Our government approval for the Chief Judge of Federal High Court and CJ to build another federal high court so we can have more judges because of number of cases in Port Harcourt, and also build their residences in Port Harcourt. By December this year, we are handing over the residential quarter of the judges of National Industrial Court. December this year. I'm not talking about next year. Now, we refuse to let them know. We refuse to tell the president of the Industrial Court, Foundation, say no. Just don't, Attorney General, don't tell them, don't worry. Don't worry. In fact, if judges of Rivers State Judiciary see where they are going to stay, they will return to see of force of their own. And for us, whatever we can do to support the judiciary, to enhance the administration of justice, to make Rivers State to be the hub of the South-South, that's our own interest. And that's what we're doing, and that's what we're doing. So, the members of the National Judicial Court, I'm not a civil servant. I'm a politician. So, that's nothing I won't come to court. My tenure will expire May 29, 2023. You know? So I'm not coming to Industrial Court to file any matter against me. Nobody will also file against me. They can only file against Rivers State government. So I have no business. It's not me. So we'll do all we can do to give support so that anywhere you go to, you will know that Rivers State government, they are serious about administration of and most of you who are from other states, you can attest to the fact that you cannot compare with what you see in Rivers State and what you see in other states. Those days are gone when you will say Lagos. I told Sudan Local and then Majority, don't talk about Lagos again. We're far ahead. We're far ahead. Don't bring this we are ahead of them. So I said, well, you'll talk to me later, but you didn't come again. I don't know what happened. Furthermore, would by December this year, 2020, lay the foundation stones for the construction and furnishing of 2 900 students capacity hostels and 1,500 capacity auditorium for the Nigerian Law School in Bayelsa State. Now, people, you see, we are in a country where you don't understand. You support Court of Appeal, you support Federal High Court, you support Industrial Court, which are all federal government institutional agencies. Now, I'm from the South-South. The law school ought to have been here, but our predecessors refused the law school to be in Port Harcourt. Now, our people are in that school, and you go to that school, and you say you're a lawyer. There's nothing, you won't even allow a child to be there. You will never allow any of them. You won't even allow your sibling. Nobody should hear that place. It's a no-go. And I went there, I cried. As a lawyer, I'm in a position, I cannot help my own constituency. Then when I leave, and I begin to criticize, they will ask me, were you not the governor? What are you talking about? What was your role when you were there? So I will use this position to help my constituency. Peace and development of our state. We wish to assure you that we continue to modernize our judicial system in line with global realities based on our vision to propel our judiciary to world-class standards. As a lawyer, as a last venture, by the grace of God, even though some people are not happy, Governor, God has been so kind. Last venture, Governor. What do I want again? What do I want again? So, those of you who made it possible, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Don't mind that. I'm going to tell me not be happy. Not be happy, but we'll try to push him. He has gotten one. Let me take this one. Let me stay where he is. But let's not get it two at once. I have a personal passion for the rule of law and judicial independence, and our commitment to these values inspired our conviction on their relevance as overriding social legal norms As a government, our investment in judiciary may not necessarily be enough to resolve all the challenges, but we are doing far more in this regard than what the federal government and the center, relative to available resources and other competing state interests. At any rate, it's only a blind person that could deny the very visible investments we have made and the corresponding strides we have achieved in the judicial subsector of our state. The federal government cannot legitimately claim to be more interested in the progress of state judiciary than the governors of the respective states, certainly not ours. The decision by the federal government, therefore, to illegally seize and dissipate state funds on behalf of state judiciaries under the purported executive order 10 is not only ill-advised, but also constitutes yet another clear breach of the constitutional powers of the governors to manage state resources in a federal system. Now, what the federal government is trying to do, after every budget, they collect money directly from an allocation and pay to the state judiciary. I have no problem. But look at the problem, and people don't understand the reality. Who passes the budget? Who passes the budget? Assuming that I said, for the next fiscal year, the budget for judiciary is 50 million. What will you do? What will you do? As a governor, I said my expenditure, my capital expenditure for judiciary next year is 50 million. Go and take 50 million and give them. When you give them, or what happens? So when the chief judge comes out, we are giving you the money. They've deducted it as such. It's not 50 million. So whatever request you want, you come to supplementary budget, and the executive is not ready now to sign any supplementary budget. But you see, people do things as if they are helping, rather they are causing more problem. I think my word, the chief judge here, I'm just giving you this hint now, so that I will not want to lose the independence of the state to hand it over to the federal government. I will not do that. Because we are operating a federal system. We are not operating a unitary system. If a state does not fund their judiciary, it's a headache. But for the sake, we will fund our own judiciary. But the law does not allow you to take away our own money directly, simply because you want to be good with the judiciary. That's what they do. It's politics. They want to be good with the judiciary. But they forget that you cannot force me on the budget. So, CJ, it's likely that not much money will put for judiciary in the 2021. So anything we are doing, know that as you go like this, we will also go this way. We are all politicians. We don't want to lose our own power. We don't want anybody to render us hopeless. We don't want it. So if anybody tells you that the executive order will work, okay, thank you. Speaker, we'll send him the budget by next week. I know what you will do. Then let me say how executive order will work. But because you have done very well working in synergy with the legislature and the executive, maybe with your prayers, something may happen. This, you wake up in the morning, the president has signed one executive order. You wake up in the night, you have signed one executive order. Nobody looks at it, whether it is legal or not. Nobody looks at it. The only one you will challenge is the one that the governors will sign. When I say don't trade here, some of you will rush to court and say we are disturbing poor people. But the one they will sign at the federal level, nobody will go to court. Not to forget, no civil administration, like I said, my dear brothers and sisters, the people of River State are entitled not just to justice, but justice that is prompt, efficient, unbiased, and rational, which can only proceed from the decisions of the hardworking, honest, incorruptible, and independent-minded judges and magistrates. Most people have misconceived this issue of independence. In fact, we have seen independence as we are funding when you give the judiciary money for them to preside over projects and whatever. That's what makes them independent. We are talking about independence of government, not interfering in them giving their judgment the way they see it. Not to write petition against them that somebody brought brand envelope when there was no brand envelope. When a judge cannot dispense justice according to his own understanding of the law, then that judge is not independent. So independence of judiciary should not be restricted to only funding. No. The government should stop interfering, stop intimidating. They should allow the judges to do their own work. And the judiciary should not also restrict it as if today we are independent because we are getting first-line charge. No, it doesn't solve the problem. Even if you get the first-line charge of the money, and then you cannot dispense justice, you cannot give judgment without the FCC calling you, without SSS calling you, that is no independence. We should talk more on giving me the opportunity as a judge, as a magistrate, to dispense justice. That's what I call independence. Independence is not only we can now buy cars on our own. No, that is not. That is a very slim side of it. Very narrow aspect. It's very narrow. Independence of the judiciary is not only where you preside and allocate funds. It goes beyond that for you to be able to take decisions. Because for these days, ordinary election decisions, SSS will invite you. My Lord, are you aware that we are the one doing that now? Even when there's nothing. My Lord, are you aware that there's 1 million naira in your account? You look at yourself. What if I have 1 million naira? At my level, all my career in life, I cannot have 1 million naira. Then you tell the judge. The judge said, well, this is me to have problem. My integrity is at stake. Please, I'm not doing it. Then they have achieved what they wanted to achieve. That's government. For them, justice is only when they win. When they lose, we have to lose it to that judge or those judges. That's what we have in this country. It's unfortunate that so many people have played into their hands. People are afraid. So whatever it is, you come home, your husband will tell you, or your wife will tell you, well, you know, our children are 7 years, 8 years. If anything happens now, we'll look after them. Leave it. That's what still happens. As if you know whether you'll be alive tomorrow, and those children will not have anyway. Look at the police that they killed around me. I saw one of them yesterday. 6 months. 6 months. And who will tell him the history of his father now? Who will tell him? Did his father know that that day he would die? What offense did he commit? Just, I'm going to work. And the wife will say, come back on time and have your dinner. Then she was called. Look, the husband has been killed. That's the end. So let us do what is right. And forget whatever will be. Whatever will be, will be. It's not by you. It's not by you being afraid. What will happen will not happen. It's not true. In fact, those who are more fearful die early. Those who are more fearful die early. Those who are bold and sent to hell, they stay longer. Why have they not killed me? You think that they don't want to kill me? But I will not die. But you who are afraid, you will die first. Me, I won't die. I'll be here. But when you are afraid, they kill you. But when they know that you are not somebody they can just go and touch anyhow, they also be very, very careful. So do your work. There's no work you will ever do that people will not criticize you. As far as you're a human being, people must criticize you. Do it left, does in the right will criticize you. Do right, does in the left will criticize you. So there's nothing. Nothing. That's nothing. So if you really want to do this work, it's not by wearing all these beautiful regalia, all these ones you are wearing. No, it's your mind. Am I prepared to do this work? Am I prepared? As a politician, my wife used to advise me, please be careful. I said, careful for what? They said they will kill me. Who told them I don't want to kill them? I tell you that they want to kill me. Who told them I don't want to kill them? Who gave them that monopoly that they can kill, I cannot kill? Who told you that? When people say, yes, gentlemen, there's no university. You can't read gentlemen, there's no university. When people say, you are a hoodlum, there's no university. It is you that decide, look, this is the way I want to be. Right? If tomorrow now, you can remove this, I'll say, oh boy, what of us were in this game now? What of us were in this game? So there's nobody that will tell you hoodlum. And then when you hear hoodlum, then you run away. No, nothing like that. Everybody can be a hoodlum. It depends if you want it. As if there was one person that was born and they say you will be a hoodlum. Who says so? I will remove this. Then all of us are hoodlums. All of us are hoodlums. And when you are afraid of your fellow human being that he will kill who? You want to be a gentle person so that, as a gentle person, this girl loves you, this man loves you. You know the way you compose yourself. All those things are advantages. Right? But when things are tough, as a politician, my friend, throw away that gentility. Because before you know it, you are gone. If I was a gentleman and you don't say that, you think I will here. I will have the opportunity to address you here. I wouldn't have. When they came that they want to start this, I said, give me my bedroom. Okay. Didn't they run? They ran, and I won. So I'm not a gentleman. But when the time comes, this one, it doesn't work that time. This one, it doesn't work. As for some of you here, who say, oh, my brother is the governor, this and that, it's not easy. It's not easy. It takes a lot. I think we tried it, they couldn't give him ticket. No. So it's not an easy job. It's not an easy job. So everybody wants to comfort ourselves. So you that is here, God has given you the responsibility to do this job. It is your mind that you must say, am I ready to do this job? If you don't have the mind to be a judge, to be a magistrate, there's no need. But these days now, we take it, well, I want to have a judge in my family. I want to have a magistrate in my family. But go and give one controversial judgment. No. My mother is not feeling too well. I'm the only one who takes care of that. Which means you are not prepared to do the... You're not prepared. They will write petitions against you. In as much as your conscience, you are clear. Say, look, what are you writing? So yes, go and write. I know I didn't do anything. So go and write petition. Go and write the position. Yes. They may take whatever decision they may take today, but tomorrow I will be. That is what you should understand. And so that those of you who were in church today, when the pastor was preaching, he was talking from the Bible. I'm not talking from practical experience. To add to what God said. Add to what God said. There is nothing I want to do and I will not do it. Nothing. And nobody can say you are influencing me. No. I want to do this to that, I'll do it. But in as much as I know my conscience is clear and I will stand to defend it, I will do it. I will do it. So that is the way it is. It's not a question of anybody saying this and that. It's not important. Let me appreciate the Chief Judge, Honorable Justice Adama Iyayoka, for your illustrious service to the state and your commitment to the progress of the judiciary. Now, I'm sorry to say this. People oppose me not to accept you because you are not you are non-indigent. But I can tell you today, I feel so happy that there's no crisis between the judiciary, executive, and administration. If you are indigent, maybe Ogoni people would have called you. Look, maybe Igbo people would have called you. Maybe Kalabari people would have called you. I would have been having crisis in the judiciary. But I thank God, I stood my ground. I wish that another non-indigent. I wish. I'm very proud. And I tell you, aside from my wife, I say it any day. Anybody you can say it when you say it. I feel proud that you're very consistent. You never allow this government to have a crisis. There are those who will be chief judge of the state. They made by me, that's what I was told. That's what I was told. So if you are even by me, normally you get years October, November, which means you would have gone. But let me use this opportunity to say to the world that myself, my wife, even though he says your brother, I don't know how two men are brothers, but even though he says so, but we are very proud of you. And I'm sure the Legal Council, they are also very proud of you. I tell you that when I look around, I say, God, I hope the person who's going to come and take over you will not cause crisis for me in this state. I hope so, because myself, I'm crisis. I hope whoever that's coming to take over from you will allow this state to move forward the way we have moved the last 5 years. I hope so. But I tell you that you have made us proud. You have made us proud. And I thank God. My wife never one day. Thank God for that. So I felt I should use the opportunity not to say it at your back, not to say we are me and my wife alone, but to say we are all the legal practitioners, all members of the body of senior advocates, the magistrates, the chairman of customary court, and members. When somebody does well, I stand firm. So the person has done well. So that you too will be commended when you do well tomorrow. And I challenge all of you, and I challenge all the judges who are here. Forget sentiment. Forget sentiment. Forget sentiment. People forget in life, and I tell them, you went and appointed somebody who's not for your state to be a magistrate. The person was serving you. You went and appointed the person to be a judge. The person was serving you. Then by providence, as God may allow it, the person to be a chief judge. So no, it's not for your state. Go and pay back the services now. Go and pay back the services that has rendered to your state. My Lord, God ought not to uplift you. I know the problem in this state. I know what I went through. I know what I went through. But today, members of the Executive Council, Deputy Governor, all of us, I said everybody must come. You have not seen Deputy Governor on the Gadi here, joining the church. I said everybody must come here. And to join me, thank you for not making our state to be in turmoil. Somebody can use the children to cause crisis in your state. I know what is happening in other states. I know. So I'm not a new person. I know. I know the workers. I know what's going on. So I'm very, very proud of you, and God will continue to bless you, to make you finish this your tenure, and then give you other assignments as He pleases. So let me, on this note, now declare 2020-2021 legal year open, and thank God for His blessing. Thank you very much.